There you go.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
better. Hello.
Hello, how are you today, Karush?
Good. How are you, Devon Taylor Gould?
I'm good.
That's very good. Um, how's how was your day today?
The day was good. Had to watch the Pats game last night, so I was up late because we're 5 hours ahead here of California. And then had class today early in the morning. Came home, took a nap to be ready for the 11 p.m. call.
Hell yeah. Oh, it's 11 p.m. there in Chile,
Yeah, well, yeah, now 11:30, and so.
Santiago.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. Um, did the Pats win or lose?
Dude, they lost
Oh,
to the Texans.
wow.
Yeah, so
That's
they've
it's not
10 and
bad.
2, 9 and 2, huh?
9-2, right? Or they or are they I think
They might
nine
be
and two.
10 and 2. I'm not sure.
All right.
Because
Season's
is it the
almost
12th or the
ending.
13th week? Yeah, season is almost ending. Dude, Jimmy
Jimmy
Jesus.
G versus Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? Maybe, dude. That's an honest maybe right there, huh?
That is an honest maybe. Just because of the Patriots, because they're always a maybe.
Patriots? Yeah, they're for sure always a maybe since 2001. Football? Pretty insane. How
Very
much
insane
it's
sport.
very insane sport. Um,
No, think about trying to explain football and watching football to somebody who's never watched it before, just like a
it's
foreigner.
difficult. I've been there. Haven't you been there? Remember
Yes,
the
yes.
first time you watched football? I avoided football for a couple of years because I just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
This is a lot to handle. Not even just like I have no idea what's going on. This is
Yeah,
overwhelming with the rules.
it took to playing it to really understand it.
Yeah. Although some people are very love it. Some people at my work really, still to this day really enjoy watching football, which is good.
I would
But the
say that's
NFL,
good.
yeah.
Kind of. Is it though?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, it's definitely not the safest sport, but what are you gonna do?
Play other sports.
Yeah. Well, that's what the NFL is the NFL not dying a little bit or
I don't. I just feel like it's not dying in the United States.
you don't think so?
It still dominates. There's no sport as big as NFL in the United States. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. NBA? No.
MLB? No.
MLB maybe, dude. We just don't live in a some people love baseball. Even in San Diego. A lot of people at my work actually very much love baseball. They care about football too, but baseball's a big deal. So, NFL's still big. I'm not going to say it's not big.
Obviously not. It still has. Isn't the Super Bowl the most watched TV event in the United States?
Yes, maybe. Probably today, definitely, since like everyone else streams everything else.
Hmm.
So, how was what did you do today?
I went to work today. Well, I taught early in the morning and then came home and slept. And then, yeah, because it was. Dude, my parents were here.
Oh wow.
The
How's
rents.
how the how are your parents doing?
They're doing good. You're gonna come up when I come down, right? Or you're gonna head to Orange County and meet to see them, right?
Yeah,
All right. So,
for
but they enjoyed,
Christmas?
yeah, for Christmas. But they enjoyed Santiago a lot. They had a good time. They were only here for a week though, and it was like Thanksgiving and stuff, and so.
They're still there though.
No, no, no. They left on Saturday. Saturday night, they had like a red eye.
Oh wow. Red Eye, what time does that arrive?
I think it arrives in like Dallas around like 5 or 6, and then from there you take a flight to John Wayne or LAX.
To Dallas first?
Yeah, because you generally go through Texas for South America. I mean, you
Really?
can't find LAX to Santiago is just super expensive for some reason. Super expensive.
I wonder what the reason is. That's
I have
interesting.
no idea.
Dallas? Okay. But okay. That's good. 1 week to see their son.
Hmm.
So, how's Chile?
Chile is in a very interesting time right now. Like probably one of the most interesting times to be living in here. It's been incredible, crazy, super crazy to see.
What does it make how does it make you feel?
Oh no, good overall because it's cool to see like because I feel like we could never have this type of unity in the United States, or at least like just because like the United States is so big, where Chile, it's like, dude, these protests have literally been from like the furthest city in the north to the most southern city. Like it's just all over Chile, and it's still going strong. Like in one of the farthest cities in the south, the biggest cities in the south, like they just had a huge march today, and so it's crazy. It's kind of cool to see people like come out and be like, yeah, we're not a huge fan of this because I feel like we would never do that in the United States.
It's very dangerous, debatably. To
Um, it's just because, like, dude, the situation, it's not like normalized, but people have gotten like accustomed to the situation. Like when you have like these big marches, like there's like a huge amount of like Pacific people, and then there's like just people on the outside edges that will be like setting up barricades, so like stuff in the streets, and doing stuff like that. And so you just got to be careful because like if like you I don't know if you're just not depending on how close you are to the police is going to be like because if they're shooting stuff like tear gas or rubber bullets, people will know, but you can stay like super far away from them and they know that like that general area is like Pacific. And so my parents went to a march.
wow. How
They were there.
what did they say about it?
They said it was a very cool experience. My mom really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Because, dude,
That's
it's just weird. It's not because, like, looking at what like is seen in the United States news, it's just like been a lot about the violence and like they're really, yeah, like obviously there's going to be violence when you have like a huge population that's like not content with things, and then it like boils over at something. So like there's going to be like a certain level of violence, but it really hasn't gotten too bad. Like when
that's
you think
good.
about it,
That's good to hear.
like 6 weeks, 20 people have died, which is like a lot of people, 20 people. But like, dude, we have mass shootings worse than that. Like every other month, dude. Like,
Yeah, there are other places in the world that are doing pretty poorly,
yeah.
That's not too bad. So,
But
that's
I do
good to
think the
know.
worst, the worst is yet to come. Like, because you have to realize like things are going to affect negatively in the country, and so there's still things are still like people are getting accustomed to the situation, but it could still break apart.
That breaking apart is not what do you think about that idea of it breaking apart?
I just don't think it will because you need to realize like as much as like right now there's people in the streets like it's not like people are just like burning buildings all over the city. Like Santiago is huge, like huge, massive. Like we're talking millions of people. Like in like the dense metropolitan area, I think like 4 million, 5 million, and then 8 million in the surrounding area as well. And so you have like this huge population and like there's like these large, massive protests going through. Like, granted, not like even it's a large, massive protest when it's a small amount of the population, and there's just like it's not like there's like super violent, and you can just tell because on the news it'll be like you're watching one station, and it's like all right, one supermarket is being sacked right now in the whole entire city, and then that's like what all six like news stations show at the same time, and it's like is this really the only thing you have to show? Like, there's like I see videos on Instagram, and there's like plazas that are full of people, and then the news will really only show like sackings or lootings or burnings, and you can tell because they all show the same ones at the same time. It's like kind of weird.
They show the same one at the same time? What do you
Yeah,
mean by
so
that?
like so they in at the same time at like 7 o'clock during the day. Like I know there'll be like 20 to 30,000 people in like one square. I know there's like another 5 or 6,000 people in another square because I'm seeing like live videos. And then the TV one station will show like looting at this one supermarket in the city. And then like you're like all right, well next station, and it's like looting the same supermarket. So it's like there's one looting going on in Santiago, but That's all they're showing.
Well, that's good to hear that it's not too violent and
I mean, because like it still is at the protest, you have the large group, and then generally the police kind of have like a base where they sit out at, and so like there will be people like up on that front line like throwing rocks and stuff, but the police stand far back where the rocks don't hit them. And then if they ever get too close, they have like the water cannon that comes out and just spits tear gas and can just push people back super easily.
have you gotten
Like,
tear gassed?
yeah, because like I mean, you just feel it. Like even if you don't like not right next to someone that like or right as the bombs come in or as like the water cannon is spitting it out. Like even just at the protest with the like the wind, sometimes you just get like a hit in the face, and you're like, oh yeah, that's tear gas. And so,
What does it smell like?
almost like like it's hard to describe, but almost like a synthetic fire in a way. But it could also just be that I've associated the smell a lot with like burning shit that people are burning like in the street. Because people will make fires at the protest, but they don't make them like on buildings. They make them like in the middle of the street. So if the police were going to try to come forward and like trap people, like they would have to go to the barricade first, put it out. So it's like a thing of defense that they use.
Got it. So, wow. That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It is pretty crazy. I mean, the
But
crazy people are the ones that are in the front line as like rubber bullets are coming in.
yeah, they're not necessarily crazy. They probably believe that they're fighting a cause and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Well, no,
hard
it's
to
just like,
yeah,
dude, it's a level of like, dude, it's kind of like when you get close to the front line, it's pretty scary sometimes.
I'm
Like you're
sure
kind of
it's
just
not
like, oh shit, like.
like some people are carrying military grade weapons, you know. Aren't they? Are they
What do you
not?
mean by military grade?
Not the civilians,
But
the
the police?
yes.
But the police here, so it's like they have rubber bullets. Like think of like a shotgun, but like rubber. So it spits out rubber pellets, and like more and like a blast. So it has like the cartridge. And then they can use handguns for tear gas, and then that's basically all that the police will use.
Have
Besides,
used.
yeah, have used, and then they have like two different vehicles. They have like a big water cannon that can shoot water and tear gas, or they have like a small vehicle that's like very quick, but it shoots out a lot of tear gas. And so like when they need to push people, like I don't know, there was one time we were at a protest, and I didn't realize it, but someone had tried to set a fire to like a building behind us, and literally the
Wow.
police came in like within 2 seconds, pushed everyone out, got to the fire, put it out, and it was just like they literally it was just the control of the situation the police had in the moment like was very impressive
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
because it was just like honestly they know they can push everyone out when they want to like just yeah. And so, but the problem is that like people get upset because today, so people trying to go to the central square to protest, but police just kept trying to push people out of the central square, like not allowing people to gather for like, because dude, there's people selling food, banging pots and pans, people selling beers, like yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm
come to
sure
the
there's a
event,
lot of vendor markets. Is anyone cooking like
dude.
bacon
Yeah,
wrapped hot dogs?
not bacon wrapped hot dogs, but they have like their normal like chill because hot dogs are like kind of a big thing here.
Yeah.
But it's like something different. They put like tomato and avocado and mayonnaise and like
They
yeah.
love
So like,
mayonnaise, right?
dude, they love mayonnaise here.
I love mayonnaise too.
Dude,
Mayonnaise is
it's really good.
phenomenal.
Hmm.
Do you eat a lot of mayonnaise now?
No, I try not to.
That
I don't buy
ahi
it.
that ahi chileno
Yeah,
sauce that you got me? That's
works great.
mayonnaise. It's pretty much
No,
spicy mayonnaise, isn't it?
no, because that's like more vinegar. That's like vinegar and like more salt in the ahi chileno. Mayonnaise is like the white,
Fat.
like thick, creamy, fat egg. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's good to know that the protesters are being fed.
yeah.
Well,
And dude, they sell beers and like you just
beers.
go like
It's
drink a
just a
beer,
great
paint your
time.
pan.
Honestly, that sounds like a not too bad of a time. As long I would stay in the very, very back.
No, no, because like
Once.
it's just I mean like going to like observe it. You just want to stay with like a large mass of Pacific people and keep an eye on like where the police are. So if they're gonna try to push people out, you can like walk away.
But yeah, but getting tear gassed sounds pretty not great. Awful, actually.
Dude, it's not that bad, honestly. Like, and different people react to it differently, I think.
I'd probably react not great to it.
And possibly, but you just can't touch your face, like, cause so you're wearing like a
Yeah.
scarf here, and so like breathing, it's not bad. Like, at least for me, I've never really had a problem like breathing. Some people say that it's like hard for them to breathe when there's a lot of it, and then you just can't touch your eyes, and then you start to like cry, and it like hurts. Think of like cutting an onion almost, but like a little bit more painful.
Oh wow. That's a
And
good
it's
enough.
you just don't touch your face, or at least I don't. People like walk around all the time with like it's water with, is it baking soda? It's like something bicarbonate. And so
Wow. Um, we cut out there for a second, but that's pretty crazy that people are going around with like baking soda to clean out the
yeah, baking
eyes.
soda and water in like a spray bottle.
And yeah, but I'd if you stay in the back, could you
Tear
avoid
gas.
getting yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah,
exactly it.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like, unless the police are feeling like being unnecessary assholes, if they're gonna push people out, like people will move. Like, and so generally they won't like if you're in the big Pacific area, they won't shoot too much tear gas. But like sometimes like I really have seen it where the police were just like assholes and were just shooting tear gas into the Pacific to start off like their push to push people out, and it was just like that's unnecessary. Like if you come in with the vehicles and then like people will walk away.
See, I
Generally.
completely agree that, or I don't even know if, but whether or not it was necessary, those guys probably also have like higher grade weapons, and it only takes one idiot or one guy, I shouldn't even say it, one police officer
Yeah.
to do something crazy, you know?
Yeah. But generally, dude, in the because if it happens in Dignity, if it happens in the main central square, because it's just there's residential buildings around there too, so there's just always every day there's videos coming out of like what happened there. So like if that happened, oh my god, it would be
It'd be all
crazy.
over social media, huh?
It would be crazy. No, because like, dude, that's the thing here is like I've really understood how news can affect your way of thinking because like I so like you'll be watching the Chilean national news stations like the television companies, and then you'll be on Instagram at the same time. And because, dude, you have to use Instagram to get news because, like, that's where people are posting stuff. And so, like, just the disparity and like what's coming out is crazy,
You're saying that Instagram is where I have to go to get my news?
dude. I swear to God, at least in Chile, because Chile's like small enough to where like word of mouth and Instagram can be like helpful because it's 17
That
million people. So like you think about like less than half the size of California, that's the country. And so
That's a really crazy dynamic to think about. When you
yeah.
think about Facebook having power, I don't
Mhm.
think about it as they are one of they are the source of news in the country of Chile. That's how
Mhm.
much power Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook have. I didn't realize it was like that. It goes beyond Facebook. It
Mhm.
goes far much farther beyond Facebook.
Mhm.
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
interesting.
Because it's just because the way that Instagram is just easier news because like so you have like pages which would be big like some of them have 500,000 followers, some of them have like 25,000 followers, some of them have a million, and so it's just like if someone sends them a video of like oh shit this just happened in like Antofagasta, like a city in the north, then that like thing will post it on theirs, and then yeah, it's crazy. And like when it becomes big on social media, like in the first few days when the military was on the street, a video came out on Instagram, and it looked like the police had or the military had killed somebody. Like they're literally just putting a body like into this van and like firing rounds. And like 2 to 3 hours later, after it had become like all over Instagram, like literally everything that I saw had something about it, then the news started reporting on it.
So Instagram's where to go if you want the breaking news.
Yeah. Well, I
Real.
mean, because it also is a little bit more biased. Because I mean, bias as in like a lot of the news you'll see on Instagram is going to be videos of shit that happened. Like random citizens like taking a video of the police and then like they send that video to like a bigger news source or a bigger Instagram
So
page.
crazy.
Hmm.
Social media.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's just how else is information like that going to be transferred? Like, what's a better way to transfer a video to a large population like that?
By
So,
Facebook.
no, dude, no one uses Facebook here. I mean, people have it, but not for like stuff like this.
It's more, wow. Instagram more easily accessible through the
Hmm.
I've heard, and direct messages also. I've heard, I don't have an Instagram.
No, I know.
But I feel like I might need to get one.
Yeah.
Do you think I need one? Or do you think I'm
Oh
good?
no, I mean, you can always decide your own level of involvement. I feel like if you haven't had one for a while, like you can just have an account where you're basically just following a bunch of shit, where you're not going to really post anything, but you're just following a bunch of different pages that like post random shit in like anything almost. Like you can do Patriots or Chilean news or yeah.
Oh, wow. That's still gonna be tough to not follow like family and friends and just
Yeah.
like, oh, I wonder what all my family and friends are doing. Now that I'm browsing
On
Instagram, I might
yeah.
as well just check it out. But
You
I don't know. What?
you just got to be careful. At least with Instagram, they have like a little thing where you can see how much you've used it in the last week.
Is it helpful in
To see
using it
that?
less?
Yeah, I was using it like a small amount. Like I was at like generally 15 minutes a day. But then ever since like all this has been happening, like it's gone up to like 30 to 45 minutes a day. But that's just because
Wow.
like honestly, like I literally because like if it's like oh I'm thinking about going somewhere, like maybe I want to like see what's happening in like one of the squares, like I'll look on Instagram to see like if there's been posts like where today the central square like I would have looked up and it would have seen oh they're already trying to push people out because there's like videos of like them trying to push protesters out like of the water cannons kind of coming in, so it's like oh I know it's like there's no way I'm going to go into that situation if they're like already trying to push people out like not letting people get set up, and so it's just like an easy way of getting a lot of the what's going on in the city.
Does the subway work? Are they
Yeah.
has it opened up?
Yeah, no, so it was down. So like it shut down on a Friday. Everything started October 19th or 18th, whatever the Friday was. And it was shut down for the weekend and then it's been like partially open in certain areas. But now it's like 80% operational, 75% operational.
What caused it to break down?
Oh, dude, the first day when the protests first started, everything started with like teenagers trying to hop the metro fare, which is like honestly a pretty common occurrence. Not common, but like it's not something that's uncommon here. And then people just got fed up with everything, and so like the metro shut down because people started like burning metro stations, throwing shit onto the third rail. You know, the like electricity rail that like if you touch it, like shit explodes. So like throwing a TV on that and it'll explode. So like burning the metro stations, like stopping the third rail, there was a bunch of people that like would sit on like the platforms so the trains couldn't come in, where like the whole station would be full of people. So it's like when you have like a thousand people in the station shutting that station down, trains can't move forward. So that whole line is shut down. Like and so it was crazy. And
That
then
that
yeah.
right there, for me at least, is the bad part of protesting. When
No, I know.
something like it just that, I mean, I'm sure that ruined everyone, especially like the people
No.
who needed it the most.
No,
Like,
it did ruin people and it was very difficult to cope with. But like people just coped with it, you know? And because here, like some people had a week off work because it was just like you can't come to work because like also at that point shit was like closed down in the city. And
but is
so like
everything good again?
I mean, what do you mean by good?
Is it
Calm?
yeah.
I mean, I think people have gotten used to it, but I mean, there's still thousands of people. in the streets marching. There's still confrontations with police. Metro stations are still closed, some of them. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, they tried to reopen one of the metro stations, but literally the minute they opened it, it got swarmed with people like protesting, and then so they shut it down instantly. Um,
No.
what else? Yeah, but no, I mean like when you have like a populace that's like very upset about something and like the anger rises and rises and rises, it's like always one event that sets it off. And so like and even people here like will say, I mean obviously these aren't the people that are in opposition against the movement, but a lot of people here will say like it kind of sucks like having to burn shit sometimes, but like the government won't listen unless that happens. Like literally if there was millions of people in the streets marching pacifically, nothing's going to get changed. It's when you start burning the banks and people get nervous, that's like when the government will actually do change. Dude, because the government hasn't done shit here either. Like they've done like anti like covering your face laws. They said they're gonna do the new constitution, which is good, but it's like they have all these problems that they're upset about, and they're just like, oh, we're gonna change the constitution next year. But it's like that doesn't really fix a lot of like the central problems why people were in the streets.
Yeah. That what do solve the central problems of people being in the streets?
I think you have to do more with the pension systems. I think at some point there's gonna have to be justice for the police brutality that like has been seen. Because dude, a lot of people here believe that the police like literally took people and like tortured them. I mean, like beat them up and stuff. Like we're not like pulling nails and like, but like beat them up in like detention. And so
That's
yeah,
uh
so I think people are gonna want some sort of justice because also it came out so like there wasn't a ridiculous amount of people being blinded here.
blinded, like
Yeah, so
blindfolded.
over no like over 200 people have lost an eye, and 30 people have lost
Oh, by
complete
the
vision
pellets.
because of the police, because of the pellets. And then one day I remember seeing that early in the morning, like one of the top Chilean universities had collected a lot of the pellets from all over the city and started chopping them up and like weighing them. And they were like not regulation like rubber pellets. Like they were a higher composition of metal than they were like way higher composition of metal than they were supposed to be. And then the next day, the police come out saying like, oh, we're going to reduce the amount of rubber bullets that we shoot. Because it's like they were caught using like ammunition they shouldn't have been using at like citizens.
Yeah. Does that surprise you though?
No, not at all. And but like the shittiest thing about that situation is like there's two options here. It's like, oh, we didn't know the ammunition we were firing at our own citizens, which is just super dumb, a super bad mistake, or they knew and just didn't care. Like those are literally the two options of like what could have went down. Both are fucking bad.
Neither are great. Yeah,
No.
that's
And so like people are just pissed at the police and people are pissed at the president because the president like when this first started happening, he brought in the military. And there's never been like military brought in since the dictatorship to like quell like people protesting. Like the last time the military was in the street was during the which is like understandable. That's like a national emergency. Like it's
what
very
was
different to
that?
send in the military.
It broke off for me.
The 2010 earthquake was like one of the
Oh
last time the
yes.
military was in the streets. And so like but that's very different than putting the military into the streets and like putting the people under curfew because of like a civil unrest.
That's a very interesting uh function of the military that during times of natural disaster they actually do play somewhat of a role,
I
especially if
mean,
it's at home. Go. What were you
because the
gonna say?
military is just like a big thing, a point of like respect, like your local police department versus like the military. The military like is like the government literally being like, "Yo, we're here by force," like because shit needs to be done.
Yeah. It's
And so like, yeah, people with
go-
that are just like, "Are you serious for the civil unrest? Like that's not their fucking job.
yeah. Oh man.
They're trained for war and like national emergency."
That's it, but he pulled the military back, right? The military is not in anymore.
Yeah, because so after the first week, the military got back, but it's also come out. I mean, this is something that's like come out a lot on like Instagram, and it's come out that like he asked the military to come back
Who's
out on
he?
the streets, huh? The
Who's he?
president,
Okay,
Pineda, president, and he asked the military to come back out on the streets, and the military said no.
good. Yeah, the
And so,
military, usually
yeah,
militaries do what militaries want. I feel
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, wow. That's well good. I mean, we don't want the military on the streets of Santiago. That would end poorly.
No,
Unless
if
it
he brings out the military again, I think people are gonna. It's because it's just like they're trying like all these different methods besides actually changing the things that people want to change. And so if he brings the military again, people are just gonna come out and just be more pissed. And
and
so
you're completing your second year of teaching in Santiago.
I am completing my second year of teaching in Santiago.
When does that end?
I mean, it's ending because I'm going back to the United States, and so someone else is gonna take over my classes. But like December 15th, I think is going to be the last day I'm working, or December 13th. And so,
And then you start a new year.
yeah, and no, and so I come back before New Year's, and then going down, traveling to the south of Chile for like a month, 3 weeks
Wow,
when
that
I get back.
sounds great.
Yeah.
Like Patagonia?
Yeah, so we're gonna fly to like the farthest Chilean city, like big city, and then we want to go to the Argentina side of like Tierra del Fuego to go to like the last habitable city in the Americas, the southernmost habitable city like year round. So like literally the end
What's
of the
that one
world,
called? That
Ushuaia,
city? Ushuaia?
Ushuaia.
Ushuaia? That doesn't even
Mhm.
sound Spanish. Is it? Do they?
I have no idea where it comes from, but I think it's there's a club named that in Ibiza, and then
Ushuaia?
hmm
Oh, really?
and then we have like another flight to like a
Have you been
less
to
southern
Ibiza?
city coming back. Huh? No, I
Been?
haven't. That was the one of my biggest regrets when I was in Spain, not going to Ibiza.
Wow. You know, I went to Ibiza
When did you go to Ibiza? Was
when I was
that
17.
yeah when you went on the trip?
Yeah, with Nathan and Brady and Miles. That was
Yes.
a ridiculous trip. We
Yeah.
were we were too young for that. If we did that now, it would be crazy. I mean, I've kind of done that with my old job, but
But I
whatever.
think would it be less crazy because you're more mature and
Yeah, but now I actually like have my own money to spend,
yeah.
and I'm 27, not 17. I mean, there's a lot more. What did you know at 27 that you didn't know at, or 26 not, versus 17? You know,
Yeah.
very young,
Too young.
too young. And you're teaching adults now?
Yeah, I teach at companies. So I work for so like I'm contracted with like an English teaching company, and then that company receives clients. And then
And
I go to the clients and like teach classes. And so we
and
have
you
like curriculums and stuff, and yeah. Hmm?
do you change clients often?
Yeah. So like the main clients that I've been working with are AgroSuper, which is like one of the main Chilean meat producers. Conchi Toro, which is like one of the main Chilean wine producers. Like a mining company that does like copper and stuff. And then like one of the private hospitals. So like those are the clients that I've been working for this year basically. That's been my main one.
Have the protests affected you at all?
Uh
Or your work, I mean?
My work, the first 2 weeks, I had a good amount of cancellations. But my main client, AgroSuper, was like, honestly, we want to try to keep a sense of normalcy through this. And so, like, I still had to go to AgroSuper the week after, like, the week that everything was, like, going crazy. And so, like,
Really?
it
So
did affect me a little bit, but, like, with other teachers at my company, it affected them way more. And
that
so,
is an interesting idea. That they were just like, nope. we're just gonna continue doing what we do until this all dies down, and
Yeah.
hopefully that happens.
But yeah, even with that company, people were able to like leave early. But like in the first week, it was kind of scary because like the supermarkets were closed, so people kind of just like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do for food here?
Yeah, yeah, yes, that's when things go very bad.
And so, but like honestly, it was just like crazy panic. But then like literally, it was not bad at all. Like once they started opening up at like normal hours again, like within a week, it was just like all right. And no, but this is also another thing. I live in like a better area of Santiago, so it hasn't really affected me too much around. But like if I walk 30 minutes, then like you'll see areas where it's like the protests have really affected some areas and not touched others.
What types of areas have they affected?
So like the center area, but generally lower socioeconomic standing areas. So like the nice area where like the downtown almost like where like the financial district where you have like nice buildings, it like hasn't touched there at all. And so
Where do you live?
I live like I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's almost like the I don't know. It's kind of because my brother lives in Brentwood in Los Angeles. It's kind of like that, but in Santiago. So like some
Brentwood?
shops.
What's
Yeah,
what's a Brentwood?
Brentwood's in area in Los Angeles. I don't know. That's where my brother lives, and it just reminds me of that because like the houses that are around here, it's like one of the nicer areas, like upper middle class, one might say, of Santiago, if that really exists.
So it hasn't been affected.
No,
Like
like
you're
stuff
not.
was closed the first week, but then within the first week, everything was open again.
That's good. Those
And
types of
so
places seem safe.
yeah, but if like I walked to where I lived last year, like shit's closed, the none of the street lamps are working, like a lot of like corporate because like the also like the violence and the anger, like when people like destroy, like break glass of buildings and like try to like take stuff, it's like very focused. It's weird. It's not like people are going into residential homes and like burning shit. People are going into the banks, burning the banks. They're burning and looting pharmacies because like healthcare is another big thing here, and like there's been collusion in between the pharmacies to like keep drug prices high, and so like people will like do shit against pharmacies, but like I don't know, yeah, big companies that have buildings like in the center square, like one of the main telecommunication companies, like
Is
all their
targeted.
windows are smashed out. Yeah, all their
Oh
windows are smashed
wow.
out up to a certain level.
People don't realize. Oh wow. That I understand. They have a
But
lot of
that's
power.
literally the worst. That's literally the worst area because that's where the main square where people have been working. But so it's like there's this huge building, this huge company, and they have like this super nice building, and then like the windows are smashed out to a certain point because people will throw rocks at it. But then like right next to it is like a residential building, and there's like nothing there. Like the windows aren't smashed, and like nothing's happened to it.
That's good for those
So
people that live there.
yeah.
Um, do what was I gonna ask? Shit. I forgot what I was gonna ask. But do you ever go to that part of the town or do you stay away from that part of the town?
No, I'll go in there every now and then. And like, because you also need to realize it's not like those parts are like bad all the time. Like they get bad to like certain hours. Like generally between like 4 to 8 or 9 will be bad because people will be in the streets like protesting. And so like you want to like make sure you don't like fall into the first line of a protest.
Oh, is it going 24 hours?
No, because like in the mornings, like there won't be too much stuff. Like just if because like a lot of people will take highways. So like they'll stop highways and like make it so it takes a while for people to get through. So like just purposefully building up traffic in one area. Um, and so like those sometimes will be like earlier in the mornings, but like none of the huge massive protests that you'll see are going to be in the morning.
Morning's a pretty calm time.
Well, it's just because like people that don't have to go to work are going to wake up late, and people that do have to go to work are going to wake up to go to work and not do shit. And so like when I was going to my main client, which is like in a city an hour south, of Santiago. Like it would be easy getting back out of Santiago at like 7 a.m. in the morning, but like getting back in would be like a little bit more questionable at like 4 or 5.
When you didn't have the public transport?
Oh, that also that as well, because like the metro was down, and so my company actually paid for me to Uber to like the meeting point in the south side of Santiago where a car would drive us. And so
Is Uber pretty cheap in Chile?
yeah, Uber is really cheap in Chile. It's very cheap. And like I honestly understand why people use it. Like sometimes I might feel bad about like people pulling away from taxi drivers because like they are independent contractors. But like here, dude, they really I mean this happens all over the world too, but like they really will try to taxi drivers really will try to scam you if they see that you're gringo and you don't speak Spanish that well. Like they'll easily scam you.
Absolutely. That's the number one taxi thing to do. I've been scammed by a taxi. It's not great.
My roommate last year, who was an American, got scammed 3 different times.
Not
Like
good.
for
How
like
do you get scammed after the second time?
just
Or after the first time?
just being a little drunk and just different like it was all in different ways. So like one time the guy must have put like a different like so the meter would raise differently because it was generally like I don't know. I'll put it in US terms, I guess. Like normally like a $5 cab to our house from this area. Like it was always $5 for me. And then one night it cost him like $25. He was just like, "Oh, I
Wow.
paid the taxi driver like $25." I was like, "No, he must have put something different or took you on some weird route. Like, there's no way in hell you could have walked and like it would have been like the same time if it was $25 is crazy. Not even to the airport, it's that much." And so, and then one time passed him bills, and the guy was like, "No, this is fake," and passed back a fake bill. Like he switched the bills.
Oh, wow.
But my roommate didn't realize it because he was just like, "Oh, it's fake. Like here, well, let's try this one." And then he was like, "No, this one's fake too." And then because he had just pulled it out of the ATM too, so it's like you need to argue that if it's like coming from the ATM.
Oh,
And
man.
then one time with a fake card reader, so they got him 3 ways, but a different way every time.
Fake card reader?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
So, because like here, when you pay a bill, like it's common that they bring you like this little card reader and they don't take your card away. Like they literally will scan your debit card there at the table. And so in cars, it works as well. Like when food gets delivered, like you can pay with a debit card and then they slide it and everything. It's super easy. And so, like, my friend tried to pay with his card. And then in the next morning, he realized that the dude had switched cards on him and he didn't have his original card. It had like
That's
someone
bad.
else's name. And then he checked and they had pulled out like the highest amount like possible. Cause so like he swiped the card and put in his number and then gave it back to the guy and the guy was like, "Oh, it didn't work. Here's your card and the reader again." And then yeah, had gotten the
That's
code and then swapped out the card.
the third one is not good when you get
No,
accounts involved. Nobody likes accounts being fraudulently transacted upon.
no, well, and because that one was by far the most money. That one was like $300 worth.
Wow, he lost $300 from that?
Yeah, and then he tried to talk to the bank, but they were like, "I'm sorry, like it was a cash withdrawal. Like there's nothing they can
Yeah,
do about that."
it's literally a Chilean bank. Not, dude, that's a very scary thing about digital money. It can liquidate pretty fast if someone just does whatever they want.
I feel like digital money is just scary in general for some reason. Like the idea of it
Digital
sometimes.
money, yeah, it is scary, but it's a reality. I don't even,
Oh,
I,
it's one of the reasons why we're here today.
digital money, yeah, yeah,
Banks
absolutely
being able
true.
to like leverage stuff and the
Oh my
investments.
God. And leverage, very crazy. Credit, oh man, that's a whole interesting ball game. Actually, um, I'm a registered Democrat because I want to vote in the primary. Um,
Mom will be happy to hear that, and so am I.
um, but They have a digital option now, I believe.
Really? For the primary?
Yeah.
See, I love the digital option because it's just, I feel like the accessibility of it is amazing. But like there is the possibility of like things being messed with. But I guess with paper ballots, it's also things being messed with. But yeah,
Hanging Chad.
hanging Chad. I feel like, yeah,
Such a ridiculous thing. But
don't don't even know what that is.
you don't know what a hanging Chad is?
No, because it's been explained, and I like, dude, because Ted Mosby in fucking How I Met Your Mother was the hanging Chad, and I looked it up, and then I've forgotten it at this point.
It's when a ballot that you remember the hole punchers?
Yeah,
You know how sometimes they wouldn't hole punch the whole thing, they just keep a
yeah,
little paper thread?
yeah,
Ballots that had hanging Chad. That's called a hanging Chad. And then in the ballots, there were a bunch of hanging Chads during the, I think, 2000 election because the George Bush Gore one was so close.
yeah.
And people are like, are we counting these hanging Chads or not? But
Uh,
that's what a hanging Chad is. It's
uh,
ridiculous. The
dude,
idea that
yeah,
go
no. It's ridiculous the idea that
that a hole punch that doesn't go completely through counts on whether or not it's a vote for the president of the United States.
because are you really gonna make that decision for someone?
Well, it depends. Who do you want as president of the United States?
Yeah, I know. That was that one of the first ones where a president had won with less votes in the popular vote?
That I know that was definitely the case for that one, but I don't
Because
know
I
if
think
that was
that
the
one was
first
like,
one.
because that one was like a couple 100,000, right?
It
Like I
was
think it was
close.
like 500,000 or 300,000 difference.
I really don't know and the number, but I know that it was supposedly very close. Didn't Gore win the popular vote?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to say. But Bush won the presidency.
Yeah, the electoral vote.
Yeah, and so I think it was like by a small, like a relatively small margin. And so like I think Hillary's was like two times larger, three times larger than the margin. And so
What do you mean? Oh, Hillary won the popular vote?
yeah, Hillary won the popular vote by about like 2.3 million people, dude.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think Gore and Bush was like by the hundreds of thousands, like less than a million people.
She didn't campaign as well as Donald did. Donald campaigned very well. He
Oh,
hit he hit the swing states. He went to North Carolina, he went to Colorado, he went to Florida, he went to Ohio, and he campaigned like a real president has to, you know? And Hillary
yeah.
didn't do that. And that's the reason we have Donald Trump. One of many reasons. I shouldn't say that's the reason, but one of many reasons he's
There's
our
too
president today.
there's too many reasons because if things were different on the left, how that whole turned out, if the left could have unified and been like, yo, any person from the left is better than any person from the right, we should probably just all vote to the left, which didn't really happen. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just so many. If people weren't as fucking, yeah,
It's an interesting yeah. I mean
yeah.
that was they lost a lot of votes, I think, the Democrats in the election.
Because I think of everything what happened with Bernie Sanders in the
Yeah.
primaries.
Bernie just got choked up or yeah, literally by his own party got choked up by the
And
news.
then, and then there was no unity on the left because of that. And then, yeah.
Do you think
Because
there's any unity on the left now?
no, dude, I think Trump is going to win again.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I don't think so. What makes you say that?
Huh?
What makes you say that?
There's 16 people right now for the Democrats.
Yeah, but there's not that many. We all know that it's already down to like 8, unless some dark horse comes from nowhere.
Yeah. Forgive me. I honestly just have no idea who's running. Like I know Warren, Kamala Harris. I don't even know if she's still in it, but I heard a lot about her in the beginning. I haven't heard much from her now. Bernie. Is Biden in it? I thought Biden was the front runner for a while, but now I don't know because people are saying like he's not going to be good. I just haven't really been able to watch too much of the news about what's.
I'm sure you're too involved with Chilean politics to be
Yeah,
involved with American politics.
I mean, I have like seen big stuff. Like I've seen different stuff from the impeachment hearings and that type of stuff. Bless you,
Thank you.
bless you. And so
That's good. Um,
how long have
Chile,
you had that microphone?
Santiago. What?
How long have
Oh,
you had that microphone?
several months, like 4 to 6 months, probably,
Mm, Are
just
you
for this
still
purpose. What?
are you still doing your beef liver?
I do. Whole Foods hasn't had as much beef liver, so I'm eating a lot of chicken liver. Did you eat beef liver when you came here?
I don't know if I was brave enough to try it. I don't know. Did you cook it when I was there, when I stayed there?
I don't think so. I don't think I cooked it.
No, but I
But
thought about it the other day. We were walking through the Central Market with my parents, which is just crazy experience. And they have like a whole meat section. Literally people walking by with like full pigs. And then I saw like beef livers like
wow,
that
like a
people were
bunch?
selling. Yeah, like a shit ton. Like literally we could have gotten like 10, like 5 pounds of beef liver.
Oh man, how much would that have cost?
Probably not that much money because I imagine it's not like a very desirable like thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't really had anything with beef liver though,
In
and
America,
so
it's not desirable, but it's
no.
gaining
So
popularity in America. That's the reason I eat it.
yeah, they just. I mean, in that market they sell everything. Like you can literally find any cut of meat that you could think of. And so because
That's
they just don't let shit go to waste here.
like testicles, like beef
I'm
testicles.
sure. I'm sure they had someone selling all of those. Like probably some guy that buys all the beef tentacles or like that these stuff comes from. Yeah, I'm sure you
Wow,
can find those. You can even
that's
find everything.
yeah. Any part of the animal you could probably find. Pork crackles. Have you ever had pork crackling? Like,
Is that pork rinds? Like the skin that's like fried?
yeah, but have you ever had it fresh?
Like crackling pig? Suckling pig? Like where it's like you're actually cutting the beef or the
No,
meat?
no, 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 no. It's like because pork rinds you've probably had as like chips, right?
Yeah,
They're pretty much chips.
yeah.
But these ones are like they're much more fatty and they just like I only get them in Czechoslovakia. That's the only place I've ever in Prague.
Slovakia. Yeah.
Yeah, Prague, Czechoslovakia. That's the only place I've ever gotten this. But it's just like pork that's fried and it's like fat and pork rinds. I think it's probably pork belly, but it's just like
Mhm.
fried and it's delicious. I don't know.
Probably.
It's kind of like pork rinds but fresh, like very
Yeah.
fresh.
No, it's not like the chips. Like it's
Yeah.
not like that texture. It's like you can tell you're like, oh, this is like real meat.
Yes,
Or it
exactly.
comes from a
Imagine if
real
it's
animal.
like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
potato versus a chip,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Very
guess.
different. Like a
A, p-
scallop potato
a
versus
well
a chip.
roasted, a well roasted scalloped potato.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was delicious. Oh my God. I love that fat pig
hmm
pork belly bacon. Oh my God. And cheese.
There's because I live in the nicer area. There's like a really nice. I mean, it's just more expensive than other supermarkets, so I don't go or even just like little markets. But there's like a really nice wine and cheese place right by my house.
Do you go there?
I mean, if like maybe
Is it expensive?
once every month. Yeah, it's expensive. So like I'll buy like a very nice piece of like cheese, and then just sit on
Go
that for a
ham.
while. Yeah,
Um, Manchego cheese.
yeah, that was delicious. But that's not that popular here. Different
What's
cheeses are more
popular?
popular here. Queso mantecoso, Gouda, uh,
Cow cheese?
yeah, cow, and then a little bit of goat. But it's not at the same level of cheese production as Europe.
Europe
Like
is
nice, like it's
crazy.
more like less refined, I
Bougie.
guess. Yeah, bougie, exactly. Less bougie types of cheeses here. It's like living cheese, not
What's living cheese?
like like what you'll put on like a sandwich or something, where you're not like using like
Like
the
deli
special knife.
cheese.
Yeah, like cold cut cheese.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
I like the European cheese though. I like the wine and cheese, but not without the expense. If I could, yeah. But what do you usually eat when you're like, do you go, is the grocery store good? How's the
y-
grocery store there?
yeah, it's just like so you have it's like this weird dynamic because you have like big grocery stores. I don't know. One of them's Chilean called Unimark. I don't know who owns it, but the other one is Leader, which is like one of the biggest ones. That's like all over the city and all over Chile. Is
Later?
owned by Walmart. Yeah, it's owned by Walmart.
Wow.
So literally, the second biggest grocery store here is Walmart. And so it's not like a exactly like a Walmart. Like we're talking more like food stuff, and like maybe they'll have like some plates and dishes, but like we're talking like a grocery store, supermarket. And so you
How
have those, and then you have like two other things. You have like smaller owned family like or single person like little street market, not street markets, but like there's two right across my corner that like one does fruit, one does more like drinks and like packaged goods. And so like people will try to go to there a lot more than the supermarket. And then you have farmers markets that will randomly pop up throughout the city, but they have like a schedule and people will go to buy from those as well. So like people try to avoid the supermarkets when they can, but still there's so many people that supermarkets are a big thing.
what restaurant do you eat at restaurants?
Yes, do eat at restaurants.
What types?
There's one right up my street that is like, because like it's weird. Chile has like a weird type of cuisine, but like one thing they actually do really well is sandwiches. Like the first time I asked a Chilean like, "What's Chilean food?" They were like, "This is gonna sound weird, but like Chile does a lot of sandwiches. We love sandwiches. So there's a Chilean sandwich shop that's really good right up the street.
What types of sandwiches?
So you can have like lamb, you can have like beef, but it's almost like a pulled beef that they have. You can have goat. For vegetarian options, they have quinoa, lentil, or like kelp, which is like a very traditional Chilean food, like
Seaweed?
seaweed almost, but it's
Yeah.
like big. It's like the stalk. It's not
Yeah.
like the
It's
leaf.
got
It's the stalk.
some meat to it.
Yeah,
The
so Coche Yu, that's what that's called. And then they'll just have any blood sausage. That one's pretty good.
You said
Yeah,
mostly beef. Do they do chicken and pork though?
yeah, they do chicken. Also, I think there's pork ribs at that place, but I think beef, chicken, pork, salmon are like probably because seafood's also big. Are like the biggest meats
Of
here.
course. You guys only have coast. There's almost nothing but coast.
I know my mom didn't realize how thin Chile was and how long Chile was.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't realize that it's like just outrageously long and super thin.
It's outrageous because the one part of the country is so far. It's actually, it's nice that they have so much coast, but it, I don't know if, I mean,
Well,
Argentina's huge too, so it's not like, yeah, it's
it's
probably
just
that.
a different world. Like I'll get a better idea in January because we're going to places where it's like sometimes you can't drive there. Like people only really fly because it's just such a bitch because it's like there's no real road because it's literally you have the Andes Mountains ending, but then you have like islands and shit. And so like there's no good like land to make roads and shit. And so like it gets like really hard to drive down in the south.
I
And so,
bet. And you're gonna go in January when it's
yeah, and yeah. But the reason why I don't fear for Chile as much as I might fear for like a different country, like Colombia is also a different situation because they've recently started. Venezuela is obviously a super different situation because like Chile just has like all that coastline, And like, let's be honest here, coast is like a big deal for like trading and like access to other
Huge. It's
and
food.
like
They have
resources
access to the
and
South Pacific Ocean. It's huge. I mean, that's food up the butthole for a long time for the Chilean people.
they ship because like you need to realize Chile is like large in agriculture. So generally, because I work for like a meat producing company, wine, minerals, like a lot of these companies, like they produce things here and then they ship them out.
Nice. That's good for
So yeah, and do you want to know how much Chile is in debt? Do you want to know what Chile's national debt is?
what?
They don't have any. They don't owe anyone money. They're literally so like the U.S. is at $17 trillion right now. Chile's at zero.
Who does the US owe money to?
Dude, everyone like China, Russia, I'm sure at some point, like everyone. We owe a lot of money to a lot of people.
China, yeah.
Yeah, but you need to
Well,
realize like a lot of our debt comes from
comes from what?
the generations before us, and we're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
Social Security? Not gonna really be a thing for our generation.
No, dude.
It's kind of
Our generation is fucked, and the one behind us is fucked, and the one behind them is fucked.
everyone. Everyone for every generation behind everything. Fucked. But it could be okay. You
I
never
mean,
know.
there's still us over the world, and with the information that we have and the connectability that we have, I feel like the
I have a
world might
question.
change.
Do you feel
Yeah,
like world hunger has been solved?
no, not at all, dude. There's still hungry people all over the world, but
Where?
dude, I thought you said that there was like people that were literally starving in Africa in places that you went, and there's
No,
people like no,
no, no way.
no,
I've never seen it. I've never seen someone. I've seen skinny people. I've never seen someone starving. They're always got.
dude. I have to imagine there's people starving in the world, but I think maybe technology has gotten to the point where like we might actually be able to feed a lot of people, but
We definitely have the resources to feed people, everyone in the world.
for
But it's.
now,
I feel like it's a lot of political thing more so than logistical thing.
well, because countries, man, like why is one country gonna give country aid, like shit, like and stuff like that? Like people are still super divided. There's still tribal warfare to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yeah, on a global spectrum too. So
Yeah,
that's very interesting. Oh man, bear,
huh?
California drawing in the background.
No, that's actually like I went to like one of the universities and they were just selling random stuff like stickers. Like it was just university art students. So like their major was art and they were like selling different designs that they had made. And so that's where I bought that. And I was like, oh fuck yeah, bear baby. I'm gonna buy this design. I also have like a Full Metal Alchemist one that I bought, and then some other TV show that's like kind of popular here just from like different artists that are students. And so
Nice. Are you going to be teaching one group of people over the 2020?
no, no, like I'll be working with like different clients, and so I'll probably be working at the meat producer again, and theirs is like twice a week for an hour and a half. But I have 5 classes there. So like I'll go there for 7.5 hours in one day and do 7.5 hours of class on Tuesday and 7.5 hours of class on Wednesday, but like 5 different classes. And so I'll probably have like those groups again next year. But then like generally the one-on-one classes are more like variable. So like I might do like this person one-on-one for a while and then change and then so
You have one-on-ones? Those have got to be, are those harder or easier than group sessions?
it's it's harder because I feel like you have to be a little bit more planned because like it's easier to put the students talking with each other in English and like that can work in as an activity versus like the teacher being involved one on one. So like I think the planning has to be a little bit better for one on ones, but group classes take a little bit more energy for things to go properly. Because with a one on one, you just sit there and you like talk and like maybe you'll write stuff on the board, but not really. Where like the group class, I generally try to like be like all over the place and have like a more active class.
Yeah, that sounds more fun.
Yeah, and so
And what age are these people you're teaching?
I've had people this year. I've had classes that are generally like a group class of like 8 people that were 25 to like 30, and then I've had other classes where like the average age was like 40s, and so
And this you're
yeah,
teaching English?
teaching English, yeah, business English generally, so like more business terms. So talking about like departments in a company, sales, like reception, finance, marketing.
Is it a higher level of English than like what Spanish, if we were to relate it to Spanish 1 through 5?
I mean, I teach everything from Spanish like 1 to Spanish 4, I would say, maybe Spanish 1 to Spanish 3, but like English. And so
Can you consider yourself fluent if you do well on Spanish 5 class?
I don't know, cause like, dude, what is fluency?
Being able to converse easily with
Like, so converse easily about like a variety of different subjects with like little to no interference from the other person having to like repeat or like explain something else.
exactly.
Yeah, Spanish 5 in high school, like Spanish AP 5 lit
Did you
or
take Spanish
AP 4.
5?
Yeah, I took it because we at our school we had like Spanish 4, Spanish AP 4, and Spanish AP 5.
Which one
And
did you
so
take?
I did AP 5, which was because Spanish 4 is like language, and then Spanish 5 AP
Who's your teacher?
AP.
Say that again. It was
I
the
went from Don Pedro and Spanish 4 to AP Lit with Steffi.
Seppi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one that is. Did you have Levy ever?
Levy, which one was Levy?
No, you never had Levy.
No, I
Uh,
had the lady from Argentina,
Okama?
Okama, and then I had that asshole from Puerto Rico.
Alberto? No.
Maybe I don't know. I almost dropped because I almost dropped Spanish 3. Like you need to realize where I am, and I almost dropped Spanish 3 because of that guy. He was
Yeah,
such a
that
horrible professor. I wanted to drop Spanish 3 because of him,
he wasn't great.
and it's
He
just
was
like, dude, I'm here. Like my life has revolved around me not dropping that class. He was such a bad teacher. He almost fucked like everything that like my life has become.
and you had him the whole year?
I had him the whole year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the only reason I continued was because I was like, I was going to take Spanish 4, and it was guaranteed to have Don Pedro if I took that class. And so I was just like, yeah, I've heard he's great, so I'm going to take Don Pedro. And then, yeah, changed my life.
He changed your life?
Yeah, dude, I'm here right now because of him.
What made you do that? What
Since
did
his
he
class, I was like, I want to study abroad in college and then teach English in South America.
Is that what he said? Is that what he
That's
did?
what he did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was in
Where did he
Colombia for 3 years.
Wow, what years was he in Colombia?
I don't know, but it was like closer to Pablo Escobar because like with the Narcos thing, like I had known a lot of like Pablo Escobar and FARC and like the AUC. Like I had known about that stuff because Don Pedro had explained a little bit to us about that, and so yeah, that was crazy. It was,
Yeah.
like when he was there. I mean,
That
I think it was a little bit after, but like still, if you go after that, like that's not the most awe-inspiring thing to have that happen like 10 years ago.
what if that's like you now in Chile? That'd be pretty crazy. What if in 5 years it's like, whoa, how'd I get here? Whoa. This is
I
like
mean,
Colombia part 3.
yeah,
Venezuela was part 2.
yeah. Because like I mean, because that's the question. Like, at what point? Because like also here, I feel like I definitely see my privilege. Because like no matter how bad things get, um, like I have the United States. Like I can go back to my parents. Like they
Exactly.
would support me in any way that I needed, and so like I have like a lot of privilege. Where like these Chileans, they're fighting for things where it's just like, yo, like this is their country. Like if you think they're gonna be fucking up their country, it's like, dude, you don't think they know that? You don't think like this is their only life? Like they understand what they can do to it.
I don't know how educated the Chilean people are that are in these protests.
I mean, dude, you have every type of people at the protests. I've seen young, I've seen kids, I've seen old, I've seen families, like everyone.
Very interesting that you've experienced such a different world in
Dude, that has
relative safety.
hmm relative safety, as safe as like these things could be, you know.
Do you have any last things that you'd like to say, Devin?
No, just thought it was nice seeing you, Karush, and I will see you in almost 2 weeks. We're like 2 weeks and 3 or 4 days.
Hell yeah. I'll see you then.
Yeah.
Later.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.